This podcast host is officially not at her desk. Yes, I am in Vegas right now. Viva Las Vegas. And tomorrow we start Podcast Movement Evolutions. I am so incredibly excited to bring all the information that I learned from there, but really be part of the cure for pod fade. It saddens me that so many podcasts fade out. I mean, 4 million index podcasts and 250,000 are around active. Ugh, there has to be a change. And today I want to talk to you about how podcasting can help you build your community and your confidence, because that's what I'm doing here. Not only am I learning the skills, the strategies, so that we can all level up and do it with ease and flow and not the overwhelm, but the thing that is most important is that community. And with community, as you begin to share your message and you show up behind the mic, you get confidence. And that is what I want to start sharing with you. So without further ado, let's just get into this, because this girl wants to go out and hit up Vegas. Kidding, of course. Vegas is not my jam, but my good friend Samantha Parker of The Glitter, if you need a daily dose of self-love, you need to go check out our podcast, The Glitter. But I got to get back to her so we can go glitterize our day. So without further ado, let's talk about building your community and gaining confidence by being an amazing podcast host. All right. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. So have you thought about using your podcast as a community builder? Because let me tell you, podcasters in all the different communities I'm in, whether that's social media, YouTube community, I've been in LinkedIn communities, I've been in Clubhouse communities. Truly, podcasting has this special thing of creating community, creating connection, and taking out that icky feeling about reaching out. It is so much easier to reach out to somebody than being skeezy in the DMs. Hey, how you doing? I saw you're doing this. You're not really trying to get to know me. You just want me to buy your thing. Where in podcasting, you can reach out, you can have a true conversation with somebody. And if you go into it with an open heart and an open mind, guess what? Those interviews, a lot of the time, become connections and become part of your community. They may end up being a customer. They may end up being someone who's referring in all the time. And they may be someone who's just there rooting you on. Regardless, you have just made a connection and brought them into a community. So if you truly have a podcast that has a defined market, that has a community of people that would get along, that would really benefit from knowing each other, creating a community around your podcast is super easy. And again, case in point, my show, that is how 100% of my community was built. 100% of my community was built through my podcast. 100% of my current podcast clients came from my podcast and building community through getting to know people by either interviewing on their show, doing a podcast intro swap, or having a conversation and having them on my show. It is truly an easy way to turn a cold person into a warm, hot lead. No, a warm, hot friend, a warm, hot community. Because even if they aren't buying, they're still cheering you on. They still know what you do. I have had so many people reach out to me saying, hey, I know you're the podcast person. I have a friend that needs to start her podcast and I thought of you. Honestly, I have not gotten any, that's 99.999% of my business in the last 2-3 years since I've been podcasting has come through some sort of a podcast interview or an introduction from somebody that I've created a connection with through podcast interviews. It's huge. So why build a podcast community, and who shouldn't build a podcast community? Well, let's start there. Who shouldn't build a podcast community? I don't know. I think if your business, if it doesn't make sense for your people to get to know each other, then great. Build a community where they aren't connecting with each other, but you still have a network of people you can connect with. But if your business, which most of you are coaches, most of you are healers, community makes sense. And it's hard to get people to start getting into your community. But if you show up in people's DMs and you're like, hey, I'd love to have you on my show. Let's have a conversation. I highly recommend that. I do always say, try to make it more you focused in your show if you are selling a product or service, but throw in the occasional interview. So if you're doing 4 episodes a month, maybe 1 interview. If you can do 1 free coaching call, and then 2 episodes showcasing how freaking amazing you and your service are. And again, we're story selling. We are teaching people. We are serving through our podcast. We aren't just skeezy salespeople. But when you build your community this way, and let me tell you, podcasting is like no other community out there. No other community. It truly is, we'll help each other. I have been in before I became an actual strategist myself, I was in so many different podcast communities where if I came up against a roadblock and I posted in those communities, there were 1 million people that were willing to help me without saying, hey, buy my thing, buy my program. They just offered support. I've never seen that before. Most people are so eager to help you by making you buy their thing. But if it's something little, there's so much support that you can get out there. I mean, my community, the Feed Your Business with Love community, you go ask questions there. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to help you. Do I have paid courses? And if you need to go beyond, yeah. But I've built a community where you can be safe to be seen and heard. So if your business makes sense for a community, it's important to think of how podcasting can help you build your community, because this is legacy content. People are still coming into my community from episodes that I launched 3 years ago on my Feed Your Business with Love podcast. That is crazy to me. That is me not having to put in the extra work, but I did put the work in up front. So if you're willing to put the work in up front, it feeds itself eventually. So if you are ready to build your community, you need to start looking at your show. First, what is your community? Who's it for? Is it just for buying? Is it for selling? How do you create a community approach? So many Facebooks are one person on the stage preaching to you. That's great. They're serving you, but you're already serving your audience through your podcast. So for me, yes, I do a weekly masterclass. I do every few times a year. I do a 5-day boot camp in there. I do monthly seen and heard Zoom parties in my group. But all the other times that I don't have schedule, my group is a collaboration, meaning I want people to practice being seen and heard. This is so great for everybody's confidence. And not only that, it boosted my confidence when I opened it up so that people could go live, that could do posts, they could share. And I've taught them how to do it without being skeezy, without always selling. We always are learning and growing and practicing together. And what's cool about that is you're building your community. But again, we started with podcasting. I started with a legacy content. People came in, they feel safe in there. Those people are sharing with other people. And then those people share with other people. And then those people share with other people. It's the ripple effect. And that is what is the magic of having a authority building piece of content. Authority building meaning something that's legacy that makes sense. Not many people, podcasting is still elite. Yes, there's 4 million podcasts out there, but most of them are not active. So it's still elite. But it is work. It's not just post and pray, record and pray. No, that's not how it works. But when you build a community of podcast listeners, they're there for the long haul. They're not scrolling by, just hitting the like button. They're listening to you. They're connecting with you. They're feeling inspired, entertained, or educated by you. They're building trust with you. And if you can spend more time with somebody building trust than the quick scroll by, you are more likely to have a connection that is going to lead to some sort of a conversation that will either lead to them referring or them becoming your client. It is all about community. And the bigger my community got, the more confidence I had. The more I was willing to say, hey, you're doing the exact same thing. Please come on my show, because I know I'm not for everyone. And that's crazy, right? Because we have this scarcity mindset that I can't have anybody else in my neighborhood on my show. And if you don't know what in my neighborhood is, to me, in my neighborhood is somebody that's doing the exact same thing or something very similar to me that we technically could have the same client and produce close to the same result. I've been turned down by so many shows and so many courses and coaching programs because I'm too close to their neighborhood that they're afraid that I will steal their clients. But here's the thing. There's enough clients for everyone. The way I teach isn't the way that everyone's going to want to be taught to. I am a fire hose. You want to get things done fast and have quick results? I'm your girl. If you're somebody who doesn't like to take action and go fast, I'm not your girl. And that's why I bring other people in my neighborhood on. And I build that community. I build the community so that you can get what you want. And you know what that does? That gives me confidence. That makes me stand out in the crowd because I'm not saying I'm hiding. I'm not saying that nobody else can be in my space because you're doing something that's too close to me. You might steal my stuff. No, come on. If you're a podcast strategist or a podcast manager and you're struggling, reach out to me. I am not like most other people that are in the field that are, when I reach out and I'm like, hey, I need your support. You're the next level of me, that say no to me because I'm doing the same thing as them. It's like, how are we expected to get to the next level if I can't get support at the next level? And I'm not saying all coaches are like that, but I have had in the last 3 months, it truly bothers me. I've had 3 people, no, it's been 4 months. I've had 3 people tell me no because I was too close to their market and I would just come in and they don't feel comfortable with that. Great, to each his own. If you're somebody who's struggling in your podcasting and you are a podcast strategist or want to become a podcast manager and want to learn all my secrets, come on in. Let's hang out. I'm not afraid because I am confident that the right people will find me and the right people will find you. So building a sense of community and having this open network allows you to build that confidence that you need to be an entrepreneur because it's hard. And podcasting is a great way in to start that conversation. Because, I mean, I don't know how many of you love those DMs that they're like, oh, I saw that you have this new thing coming out. So cool, blah, 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 blah. When you know they're just trying to get you to ask them a question. And I know because I was part of these network marketing companies and that's what they taught me. If you could have a true conversation, if you could truly give back, if it's truly a two-way street, what happens? Magic, community, connection, trust. And what are all the things that you need to make money and to grow as an entrepreneur? Magic, community, connection. Yeah. So you got to talk to people. You got to build a community, whether it's a community that all talks to each other or it's a network that you hide in the back end and you keep in touch with just yourself. There needs to be that sense of community, and you need to stop being so afraid of other people being in your market because you are what makes you unique. You are what makes your programs, your courses, your offers stand out because your unique gift, you are here on this planet to help someone, to serve someone, and they're here to serve someone else. Not everybody's going to have the same approach, and that's the magic. We are not a one size fits all humans. Come on. Look at diets. Look at any kind of culture. Look at exercise, diets, food, clothes, anything. You are unique. You are magical. And that is why you need to understand how easy podcasting can make to build your actual community. It can help you build your community because it makes an easy way to reach out and form a connection. Reach out, have an interview, pitch yourself to somebody else's show, ask for a podcast intro swap, whatever it is. It's a great segue to create a conversation, which creates a connection, which leads to community, which leads to more conversations. And then as the Hey Emmy show host, Emmy says, conversations lead to cash. And we all have to talk. We aren't in business to be a charity. So thank you, Hey Emmy. I will put her information in the show notes because she's great too. But I have to call her out when she says that, because every time she says it, it resonates with me. And that is the power of how podcasting can help you build your community without feeling skeezy and having to beg people to come to your community, come to your events, because you created a space for them to connect with each other. So I'm going to go play. I'm going to go have some fun. I don't know what we're into. Sam has some surprises for me. Again, her information is in the show notes. Hey Emmy is in the show notes, and all the fun is in the show notes. So everything is in the show notes, and I am so incredibly excited for you to go build your community. And when you do, I want to be your first member. So reach out to me. So go out, make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are worthy, and you deserve to be paid to be you. See you soon.